Okay, cool. So let's have a look at S2 Search then. So if you go to my website, square2digital.com, you'll see on the nav bar there we've got a link for S2 Search. And this page gives you all the details of the product and so forth, loads of details down here. But there is a button there for live demo. Now if you click on live demo, that'll bring up a new tab, and the URL there is demo.s2search.co.uk. So let's just have a look at the UI then. So we've got icon over here, which you can change to your own icon. We have two counters here. So this is 24 is the number of vehicles we've currently got on display, and 240 is the number of vehicles in total. And we've also got the hover points as well, which are useful for desktop. This is our text search bar here, and then we have three buttons. We've got the reset button, which is grayed out at the moment because I've got no search, sorting, and filtering. So let's start off with the text search. So let's go for Ford. So instantly, as soon as I type this in, I get results immediately. And then I can chain results on. So let's say I'm interested in a diesel. And again, further chaining, let's go for a colour. And then we can be even more granular. So actually I want a 1.5 litre or something less than 2 litre. So you can see there with the text search, I can be super granular and break down those results to very few vehicles. And if I backspace out of that, you'll see all those all pop back, and we're back to the original search. Let's do a bit more searching with the text. So you can do attribute search. So let's say I type in two-door, and then I say actually I want a two-door petrol. So lots of specialist cars there. I need to be more, actually I want a convertible, but I don't know how to spell convertible, so I've typed it in half. There we go, so that's really limited them down. And then actually I want a BMW. So I can chain results in any order. The ordering is irrelevant. And I can also have what are called wildcard searches as well. So like convert behind the scenes, that's picking out a partial text search for that. So yeah, there we go. There's my results. Now we can be even more granular with this, and we can say, okay, well, there's my text results, but I want to now interact with the filters. So if I go to filters, you'll see here that I've got very few options, and the reason for that is because my text search has limited them down to only these results. So I've got an M3, Z3, and a Z4. So if I go to transmission, you can see I've got one automatic and two manual. So if I select automatic, and you'll see there I've got the checkbox there to say I've interacted with that filter type. Go back to show results. I've just got the M3 because that's automatic. So you can mix and match the two. You can use text search with filters, back and forth as much as you need. So if I clear this down, that will just shoot me straight back to there. And let me just do that again because I want to show you. So go back to automatic. You can see I've got no manual now because the results I've got, manual is not an option. So it's not even an option available within the filters, which is why it's gone. Now from this point, we're going to reset and we're going to go back to the default results. So I've got two options. I can have a reset from here, or you'll see this has now become active again. Now I can reset with this. So let's do that, and we're back to default results. Okay, so let's have a look at the facets in a bit more detail. Filters, facets, I call them facets, but I've called them filters because that's what people most likely are going to associate them with. You can see straight away it knew that I'd previously interacted with this type, so I'm there straight away. I'm going to go to make, and you can see here, because I've got no selected options, I've got all the makes, they're all available. So these are what are called dynamic facets. So when I make a change, so say if I pick Peugeot, and then go to models, you'll see I can only pick models that relate to that manufacturer. And that's the same for all these attributes. So if I go to body style, I've got no convertibles because I've got no Peugeot convertibles. So these dynamic facets are really powerful, and the API on the back end essentially provides two data feeds. You've got one for your facets, which are these, which then drives the filters for the UI, and then one for the search results, which is providing your stock profile, or in this case the vehicles. So let's just go to show results. We've got Peugeot selected, so I'm going to just remove that. We're back to default. I'm going back to filters again, and we're going to do something a little bit different. So let's pick some Let's pick some slightly obscure makes. Let's go for Maserati, Infiniti, Lancia. Don't see many of them on the road. And what else? MG. Let's go for that. Search results. So you can see that I've got, you know, low number of results as you'd expect, because these are quite unusual brands. But I can combine, as I say, the text search with the facets and the chip. So I can say yellow, and immediately I just get that Maserati, that strange looking yellow Maserati. I could say, what else could I say? SUV. And I'm just going to get the Infiniti, because that's what it is. It's an SUV, regardless of these additional chips. So if I remove that, we go back to these results here, and I can just remove these now. So I could say, well, I'm not interested in MG or Lancia or Infiniti, and I've just got my two Maseratis. So yeah, let's reset that. Okay, let's have a look at the options we've got for location as well. So let's do a location example. So I'm based in Derby, so I'm going to type in Derby, and these are all the vehicles in Derby. I'm on a bit of a budget, I certainly can't afford anything fancy like that, so let's go to low to high, and now we've got vehicles that are in Derby that are now ordered by low to high. And you can, you know, expand that even further. So I can see there's a TVR there, they're pretty rare, so if I type in TVR again, instantly it's now took me down to there, to that vehicle. Now, what about if you've got multiple locations? Maybe you think, okay, well, I'm in the East Midlands, I'm in Derby, but I'm more than happy to look for cars within, you know, the locations of the East Midlands. So if I go to filter and we go to location, you can see I've got all the different locations of all the vehicles. So at this stage, you can say, all right, well, what's near me? So Burton's near me. What else? Derby's obviously where I am. Where else? Where's Leicester? You've probably seen it already. I can't even find it. Leicester, and then Nottingham as well. So let's pick that, Nottingham. So these are all my local areas. If I choose search, you can see they're the vehicles. And then, you know, using that result set, I can do whatever I want. So I can see a nice Bentley, so I could filter quite quickly on a Bentley. I could type in fuel types. I could do anything. So there's lots of options. Let's try. Probably isn't any, but let's say, oh, there's even a hybrid. So there's all sorts of options you can do with this. There's probably an infinite number of different combinations you can do. So yeah, very powerful. Let's just go back to the resets and let's have a look at performance. So you've probably already realised this is pretty fast, but let's pick a make that we've not done yet. So let's go for Volvo. I mean, you can see there how quick it is. I mean, on average, you will experience between 15 to around 40 milliseconds per request. So for the user, that's almost instant. You know, the experience for the users is strong because of the performance. And I managed to achieve this high performance by essentially, you know, really trimming down the response objects that return to ensure that the JSON, which is what's returned, is pretty minimal, as minimal as I can make it. And also as well that we have a distributed cache layer as well. So we have a caching layer and we have the minimized JSON body, and all that combined with Kubernetes and the nodes behind the scenes make this really as fast as I can technically make it, really, without scaling up to kind of huge you know, computational cloud resources. Right now, this is hosted in a Kubernetes cluster that's actually very low spec. It's one node and it's an 8 gig of RAM VM. It's very, very low spec. With this solution, yeah, I say it's a SaaS solution. It is a SaaS solution, but it's more of a platform, because you can say, right, I want this, but I want it on a high traffic website. So you can dictate the backend, essentially, you know, compute that you want this running on. So we have for multiple packages, from kind of very low cost, very low compute hardware within the cloud, for something where you might be getting fairly low traffic, all the way, and you know, we can cater for everything, because, you know, using Kubernetes and multiple regions and geo-replication and load balancing, you know, we can support really high scale, high traffic websites and everything in between. So it's, you know, it can support any requirement, any load, and that's really one of its USPs. Okay, so The other thing I want to show you as well is some of the attributes. So I showed you doors, so you can do doors, but you can also do engines. So let's say you wanted something really big, you can say V12. What else can you do? Oh yeah, we've got manufacturer wildcard searches. So Lamborghini is a funny spelling, but I can just type in Lambo and that'll get me those. We've also got synonyms. So because I've geared this for automotive, people can't spell Volkswagen, so they type VW. So you can just put VW in, and that's a configured synonym that I've set up already. So the good thing about this system as well is, let's say you have a stock profile where you have very specific vehicles. Let's say a lot of 4x4 vehicles. They're people call them SUVs now, but you wanted a synonym in that if you type in 4x4, it'll bring up 4x4 vehicles. I can configure that for you, as well as everything else in between. So let me reset this back. I'm going to just log into the admin portal, which I'm going to do a demo on shortly. I'm just going to bring that onto a different screen. Should have logged into this earlier. But I'm going to run through all this very shortly. I'm just going to enable... there we go. It's going to enable one of the features I've got for this called autocomplete. So I'm just going to enable that now. Okay, let's refresh this. Now watch what happens. So let's say I'm in the market for Mercedes. We get all these autocompletes popping up. Now what this is doing is using the power of the search engine to read the data within the search and pick out what it believes are auto completion for what I've typed in. So it knows Mercedes, Mercedes-Benz, so it gives me all the different options available for that particular vehicle. And as you can hear me clicking around, I can use my arrow keys if I'm on desktop to be able to filter through. So let's go to S-Class. Straight away we're there. And that works with all brands. So I could type in another funny one, so Volkswagen as we've seen. I don't have to spell it all in total. I get the autocomplete. And then once I'm on there, I can interact with this as much as I like. So, just as I said, it just works. It's also really useful if you've got, let's say Ford is a good example. So go to Ford. Now, Ford, they've got all sorts of different makes and models. And instantly by using autocomplete, I can see exactly what is available. And it basically uses the same as what Google does on their text search, where the areas that are not complete, so if I type in space FIE, you can see the boldness of the text goes away. So it shows that the bold area is the text that's left to type if the user wishes to proceed and type the rest of that search term in. So that's an option you have available on S2 search. I'm just going to disable it now. I'll refresh that and we go back and type something in. It's not there anymore. So you can turn it on and you can turn it off. It's a configurable feature. Cool. So the last thing I'm going to show you on the UI before we look at the mobile UX is this here, and this is the dynamic placeholders. And this is a nice little feature, you could say, which enables you as a business to maybe promote or push vehicles that you want to try and promote more. So the examples I've got up there's some extreme examples, but like for example Honda Civic, you might have a load of Civics that have come in that are grey, you want to get rid of them. You may be a specialist dealer and you've got a number of Porsches in. You may have any you name it, you can put it in. So by default you have 5 different options, and using the admin portal, which we're going to go through shortly, you can amend them as much as you want, and it's a nice little tweak you can put in to customize it really for your business and your current stock. So we'll have a look at that later. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, that's great on desktop. However, all my customers are on the phone. They don't use desktops. They're constantly on their mobiles. How does it look? How does it look there? Well, I've got you covered. It looks fantastic on mobile. So let's move on to that now.